statistics say that young people in America are moving further and further and further away from the concept of religion. And it's understandable because religion in its man-made sense was literally created to divide the human family instead of bringing the family together. And other than that, it was definitely made to control the people, and it was also put in place for capitalistic reasons, you know what I'm saying, to make money. Young people have become keen and aware to what's happening, so they're moving away. Now, the black church, which I grew up in, is under great scrutiny because we're in an age of black consciousness where young people are standing up against police brutality. They're standing up against inequity. They're standing up against the slave mentality that they're trying to force on this new generation. You've got the Black Lives Matter movement going strong, and it appears as if though the black church is being left behind. Now, I talk to some people, and some people say that the black church is losing its relevance. I talk to others, and they flat out, straight up say that the black church has lost its relevance. So what I have are 10 keys, 10 points that I believe that if every black church begins to improve in these areas, that they can either regain their relevance or improve their relevance. Number 1, stand for justice. Very, very clear. There's so much injustice right in front of our faces nowadays, and it appears to the public that though some black preachers and some black churches are out in the streets with the people, the majority of black churches remain silent. And it is the will of the people to fight for justice, to stand up for what is right, and to do everything within our power to right the wrongs that take place in the community and in greater society. The church has to find its way and find its role in this. You cannot claim to be a follower of Jesus and see injustice all around you and say not one thing. It's an oxymoron. When you look at the name Jesus in and of itself means justice. So the church has to be participating in the fight for justice if it wants to remain relevant. Number 2, black economics. Again, we're in the age of black consciousness. And since we don't have control over the court system, they keep letting these cops go. What do? We decided that we want to take control of what we do have power over, and that is our black dollar. So black people are moving our dollars to black banks. We're deciding to support black businesses over white businesses and other businesses. Where is the church? The church brings in billions of dollars a month. Just think if those billions of dollars were to be invested in black banks and spent with black contractors and black businesses, we can almost come up overnight. And I heard one pastor say it like this, that just as Dr. King said that we should redistribute the pain economically, if white America doesn't give us justice, if these churches don't start participating in community events, it might be time for us to redistribute our tithes. Number 3, and this might be a difficult one, but we need pastors to put their egos aside to unite with other black churches. Makes no sense for there to be 6 or 7 churches on one block. Prostitution rampant, drug addiction gone crazy, broken families all outside the same street where you have all of these churches, and many of the members of these churches, they don't even know one another. So we know historically the enemy has taught us that we should be separate. That's the Willie Lynch thing. But we got to overcome that. Unite with other black churches. Number 4, we got to recruit strong men. Look at what happened in South Carolina. You had 9 brothers and sisters killed during a prayer service by this young white boy who came in under the pretext of wanting to be saved. Had we had strong black men surrounding that church, man, he would have got saved. All right. You understand what I'm saying? So we have got to be the protectors of our churches and our houses of worship. But you can't have strong men unless you attract them. And the only way you can attract strong men is if you preach a strong message about Christ. And if you look in the Bible, there are plenty of them. Number 5, create jobs. Man, I just talked about black economics. Churches have to build businesses that create jobs for our youth. Stop telling them what it is that they need to stop doing, and let's create more opportunities for them. And when you do that, then the level of respect for the church will begin to increase among the younger generation. One of the reasons that young men join gangs is for the financial opportunities. And we have to do away with the whole concept of the preacher living high on the hog, or whatever they want to call it. The preacher's riding around in the Bentley. He goes from service to service in a helicopter. And I don't mind that a man of God is living well, but you should not be living well at the expense of the poverty of your congregation. As long as that continues to be the order of the day, you will never gain the respect of young people, and your relevance will continue to dwindle away. Number 6, very simple. You got to take it to the streets. When you look at Jesus's message, or when you look at his ministry, he was very seldom found inside of a church or a temple. And one of the few times that he was seen in the book of Matthew, I think that's chapter 21, he was coming into the temple, but he was turning over the tables of the money changers. Why? Because they were exchanging that which is sacred for money. Understand, Jesus did not build mega churches. Jesus was not a builder of structures. He was a builder of people. And if you don't build the people and you continue to build structures, the people that you neglect and decline to build will only tear down the structures that you built. And understand, when you look at what happened in Detroit, the brothers with Detroit New Era, many of them came into the church and held a protest inside the church service because they felt as if though this particular preacher was robbing the people. I don't want to say whether that was right or wrong. I don't even know all the dynamics or details. But what I do know is if something does not change, you can expect to see more of that nationwide. Number 7, politics. The church has to change its politics. Faith-based initiatives have taken too many of our most gifted preachers and placed them under the influence of these politicians. So when politicians come around during election season, they come into the church and the preacher lets them tell the congregation what it is they're going to do for the congregation. It should never be that way. When they come to the church, they should be sitting down and the congregation should be speaking, telling them what it is expected of them if they want the black vote. But as long as you have these hirelings in the way, in between the politicians and the people, then we will always be at a disadvantage. So the church has got to change its politics from one of being subservient to one that deals with power. Now, number 8, and this might be a difficult one for you, but if the church wants to remain relevant, it must begin to preach and promote good health. I'm going to say it again. Preach and promote good health. Now, you go to church and you go to a funeral. Somebody just died from heart disease. All right. Now, they're going to have the repast over in what they call a fellowship hall. When you go into the fellowship hall, they walk in with buckets of Popeye's chicken. So how is it that we just buried somebody from eating this kind of stuff, but you serving it again? It's cultural in the church. What you're eating is not soul food. In a lot of ways, it's slave food. So we can't say that God comes to give us life and life more abundantly. But at the same time, when you look up, we in the drive-thru. Have you ever gone to a breakfast with a bunch of preachers? Man, preachers, unfortunately, are some of the most unhealthy people in the community. And I know that you have a hard, stressful job, but my dear brothers, you can't claim that you are men of God representing heaven, but you walking around looking like hell. If you want to remain relevant, you got to come up to modern times and follow the will of the people. And you got to preach and promote good health. Come on now. Number 9, the church has got to infiltrate public schools. Our children are in these schools every day. The state has taken prayer out of the schools, but the state has failed our children. And it's now time for the village to step in. The church is a very important part of that village. So if they want to take prayer out of the school, then every church should have a ministry that goes in to teach those spiritual things to our children. If not, they're going to have a godless education. If the church unites and does this, I believe it would make a great impact. And the last thing that you got to do, and this might be a difficult one for some of you egotistical pastors, you got to develop young leadership. You have to develop young leadership in the church. When you see young ones coming up behind you and you see that they are God gifted in preaching, administrating, and other types of ministry, don't try to suppress their talent. Bring them up and push them forward. That's the only way that you are going to preserve your church. You're going to guarantee the future of your institution. And that's the only way you're going to attract young people. See, young people are attracted to youth. And when you have a young, powerful face out front, then it's a beautiful thing. And if you will sit back and you guide the young leadership, then you're moving in the right direction and things are going well. If you continue to hold on to the old pulpit until the Lord takes you away, you will never become or remain relevant in this day and time, and young people will continue to move away from the church and not toward it. This commentary is not designed to disrespect anybody's religion. This commentary is not designed to say that no churches are doing some of the things that we named. But these are my personal opinions, and I hope that they're taken in the spirit in which they're given. Peace.